This is Craig McConnell, and I'm sitting here with a couple of colleagues and friends and buddies. Brad Beck, who plays a role here at Ransomed Heart as our executive director, senior director. Brad,
Executive.
COO. Always thought he was the COO.
No, we
he's had an upgrade.
Man, how things change around here.
yeah, really.
Yeah, and then our maintenance guy, Alex here.
Sorry, guys. We'll be right back. I got to go unplug the toilet again.
Yeah. Alex thought he was head of events, director, overseeing all of our events. And we're just sitting here talking about what it's like to be on a team here at Ransomed Heart. What's it like to be here? What do you think would be here's the question. Let me throw this one out to you.
Yeah.
What is God teaching you? What are you learning? What is surfacing? What are either the good things God's affirming, or what are some of the either the struggles you're working through, or some of the challenges, or what is God doing through you being a part of this Ransomed Heart team? Brad?
I think one of the things I'm continuing to learn about and to deal with is what it's like to work and live in freedom of this message and how that pertains to work. Mm-hmm. What it's like to be a part of a small team versus a mega nonprofit or a mega university. Those are my past work experiences where clearly your job description and roles are very clearly defined. To get something done, you have to go to one or two particular people on the campus of 5,000 people. You just can't walk down the hall and somebody step up and help you, because that's not their job. When you're working with 12 people, we all have to cross job boundaries and roles, and that's real good for me to see that. Probably the best example is when we do an event and we go to a boot camp, and I'm no longer the executive director. I'm the resource guy, and I work with work crew and interact with the intercessors, and those are all hats that I don't wear during our typical work week here.
Right.
So, I enjoy that part of it, but I'm learning what that looks like and what that feels like, and what to be more and more comfortable with that as time goes on.
Has that been that's been an awkward adjustment or just a new adjustment?
It's been new. It's actually been real exciting for me. And it's disruptive from the point of view that when we went to Australia, I wasn't handling benefits or payroll or taking care of the building or working with the board. I was on a completely different set of assignments, and it really kind of stretches you. I think, what do I know about resources or about the Australian dollar or about the credit card machines over there? But you kind of fly by the seat of your pants, as we often do in this ministry, and God shows up. He shows up in the volunteers who are there. They shows up in other team members who offer something right in the nick of time, the drama of the situation, and you see how God works in a completely different set of situations and events for you. So that's fun. That part's fun.
You seem to take particular pleasure in your flower watering part of your job.
Well, it's the mulch that and the lack of mulch that really bothers Craig. And so I've increased the mulch budget this year significantly because I just know how it takes them out.
We have this flower bed in front of our building that is probably 50, 75 square feet of exposed dirt. And there's Brad bought one bag of mulch and just dumped it at one little spot.
I did not. I bought a bunch. I bought a quarter of a truckload one year, and you didn't show up to help shovel it around.
Yeah.
So there is a lack of teamwork also.
One of my memories of Brad's vital roles and how those roles change. He mentioned Australia was, speaking team. We're up there speaking, and it's hot, it's humid, it's dry, and we're nervous. And Brad had the assignment of making sure that there was water available for the speaking team, and he's sitting, stage right. And we often show film clips, and during a film clip, you're looking to Brad to come up and give you that refreshing glass of water, and I'm up there dying, and every time there's a film clip, I look over to Back, who's 20 yards away, and he's got a bag of popcorn and his Coke, and he's watching the film clips.
I was entering
totally ignoring me, and I was
actually there not for your comfort, but for your convenience to relay messages up from the front of the stage to the back.
Okay.
I was an integral part of the team,
yeah.
And you didn't recognize that. So.
And, it seemed to malfunction a bit. But, but it's true. I mean, it's like we probably all wear different hats at different times here, just jumping in as needed.
Right.
From loading the trailer to getting packages out the door occasionally from our shipping days that we had downstairs.
What do you think is, in truth, different about working here at Ransom Heart from people's perceptions? How do you imagine people perceive working here? And then
right.
What is it really like?
Yeah.
What do you think some of the perceptions are, and then what are some of the realities?
Well, I think a lot of times the perception is that, wow, man, you guys must have this incredible band of brothers experience daily. Mm-hmm. You're entering into these times of deep, intimate conversation and experience with God each and every day, and it just must be, transformative for your life and every moment. And
kind of like the Sermon on the Mount every morning.
Right. Right. So, I think that's the perception sometimes that isn't correct. Mm-hmm. And not that we don't live that way at times. We do. And honestly, we're really blessed to have the team that we have and the opportunities we have to enter into each other's lives and go deeper with God in our relationships. But the reality is we also have jobs here, roles here that we have to fulfill. So, about 80% of my day is sitting behind the computer answering emails or making a phone call or working on paperwork, administrative things that have to get done, or else the fun stuff doesn't get to continue.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And so, not that stuff's not fun.
Yeah.
But
so you're dispelling the myth that all we do is sit around and just have this rich fellowship. There's
right.
actually jobs we do.
Right. We do, from time to time, work.
Uh-huh.
Right.
Quite a bit.
It feels more like the Band of Brothers, the HBO series, where there's days where it feels like you're in Bastogne and it's cold and it's pretty miserable and there's a lot of waiting going on and but you've got a very important role and a task that you've got to do for the ministry. And like those men did, they had to hold that piece of ground for the advance of the Allies. And so there's a lot of days that it's pretty mundane around here. Mm-hmm. It's pretty nuts and bolts. And it doesn't feel particularly very significant, or it doesn't feel substantial, even what each of us might be doing that particular day. But God gives us enough glimpses of what the ministry is doing as a whole in the stories we hear, that it feels like that whatever's mundane is so much more worth it than in a lot of other situations. I mean, we're not changing oil so your car drives a little better. We're putting together an events list or a list of people because they're going to come to an event that's going to transform their life. And that having that as a foundation really helps with the day-to-day.
And not that oil changing
I was going to say, just lost all our
unknowable
Jiffy Lube constituents.
Well, I need one. That's why it's at the top of my head. I desperately need one. I think I'm 7,000 miles away from my last one, and I'm just really convicted by it.
You can tell when Brad's in. He's in the yellow 1963 Rambler coupe. But no, it's true. I mean, we're involved in something just mythic and global, and yet there, like anyone listening, there are so many days that feel routine and mundane, and that doesn't dismiss at all the fact that the larger story we're involved in is something huge. But there are the dog days of summer, if you will.
Right. And we do serve as a healing community and as a fellowship, but that is probably a pretty small percentage of our typical day. There are times when we have fast days that we really will. A lot of us will encounter some healing or some broken part of our heart that will come up. And I mean, that's what a privilege it is to have a place that's open to that, and to be able to do that. I mean, our fast days once a month, and the opportunities on boot camps, that the transformation that are occurring in the men and women that come to our camps also happens, for us sitting in back, changing the slides for the PowerPoint or helping with worship music, and then God comes for us too. It's like, I think it's as transformative for us on a receiving end as it is for a lot of the men and women who get to come to our events.
Yep, that's so true. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've been at a boot camp and, God's stirring something up, the wounds and the accusations of the enemy are coming against that, and it all culminates in the heat of trying to accomplish the mission we're doing into something that's got to be dealt with, and that's one of the biggest blessings of being here. We will stop and what's going on, and we'll take time and flesh that out with each other and go deeper into it. So it, that's not the daily occurrence, but man, they're glorious times when they do happen.
Right, they're open to it.
Yeah, well, gosh, so this podcast has just been a little bit of a glance into Ransomed Heart through the eyes of my two colleagues here, Brad Beck and my astute young friend and colleague Alex Burton, and hope that it was encouraging, just getting a glimpse into our lives and our working together. And we hope that this has been meaningful to you. There's a whole lot of resources available through ransomedheart.com. Come on board, take a look at what we've got, and we think it'll encourage you in your walk with Christ. And hope you'll join us again next week. Is that sufficient? Art is so encouraging. That'll work.
Good enough.
I never hear it. You nailed it. That'll do.
God showed up.
That'll do.
That'll do, big.